Opinion after year of Zion Williamson, why is everyone in rush to end one and done rule? But no matter which team winds up writing its name in the NCAA record books 3 weeks from now, ownership of the 2018-19 season has already been decided. The year of Zion began with skepticism over whether he was more than an Instagram sensation, turned into something different entirely when he exploded for 28 points against Kentucky in Duke's first game of the season and became a runaway train of media content by February when LeBron James and former President Barack Obama were flying in to see him play. In some ways, how Zion Williamson's one-and-done year at Duke ends hardly matters, although Saturday night's 73-63 victory here over Florida State in the ACC Tournament Championship game stamps his team as the national title favorites. Because, while everyone agrees that Williamson's presence has been good for college basketball, television ratings are up, social media is filled with his highlights every night he plays, and he's driven ticket demand through the roof. He is churning through the amateurism machine at a time when the NCAA's leadership is actively trying to ensure someone like Williamson never plays college basketball in the first place. More NCAA tournament. I think it can help at times from a visibility standpoint, from a business standpoint and so forth, ACC Commissioner John Swofford said, acknowledging that having Williamson at Duke has added value to his league. It doesn't change, but after watching Williamson lift an each regular season to mainstream viewing at a time when college basketball had largely fallen out of the national consciousness from November through February, the question I have is why? Though the so-called one-and-done rule that prohibits players from entering the NBA draft until they've been out of high school for a year was not the NCAA's doing and isn't the NCAA's to undo, there is now near unanimity among the people that matter that it needs to go. When that will happen isn't completely certain because it will require the NBA and the National Basketball Players Association to agree on how it will be implemented, and certain sticking points like how much medical information players are required to submit to teams and combine attendance need to be hammered out. No matter what, which, if that's what the NBA truly wants to do, is fine, albeit not altogether great for their business either. The problem isn't that, all in all, having a one-and-done rule has been better for the NBA product. And it's been better for all the feigned outrage from the stuffed shirts in Indianapolis about what a mockery it was for Anthony Davis or Derrick Rose to call themselves college athletes for 8 months. The reality of the situation is that no other sports organization on earth would say, we don't want you to the most talented people eligible to be part of their organization. And the NCAA has even taken it a step further since the FBI's investigation into college basketball corruption, all but turning the one-and-done rule into a scapegoat for a long tradition of black market transactions that went on for decades before one-and-dones were even a thing and will continue to be part of the college basketball underworld as long as there is money to be made from the acquisition of talent. Swofford, of course, doesn't see it that way. He'd rather go back. Thus, doesn't it stand to reason that Duke, the ACC, and college basketball as a whole would have been worse off if Williamson had never come to college? It's almost an unfair question because we've had Zion, Swofford said. You ask me that, but the biggest difference between 2019 and 1999 is that basketball stars are no longer anonymous when they're 16 or 17 years old. Internet outlets, if the NCAA doesn't want to make the necessary compromises to accommodate that market for the best 20 or 30 high school players, it will go somewhere else, perhaps to the NBA's G League, which would leave college basketball with the worst of all worlds. Not only would the NCAA be missing out on the most talented players, but one and done would still exist in the sense that the best freshmen who do play college basketball would still be able to make the jump after just 1 year. So what's the point of trying to shove them out of your system in the first place? Why would I pass up on this experience? Williamson said, maybe that's true, maybe not. Well, never know. This article originally appeared on USA Today. Related slideshow, Best of the College Basketball Season provided by MM.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park, pot.